Welcome to Spiritual Dialogues with Father Udon de Castro. We are here at Cariana Lay Monastic Community. I'm your host, Brother Lodi, and with us is Sister Tachi. Sister?
Yes, Father, you are going to continue about this. This is really one of the biggest issues, Father, because on it depends our salvation.
Yeah. Well, the papacy is very important for the Catholic Church, really, because that's supposed to be the captain who's supposed to guide the ship
Yeah.
towards heaven. And the issue of who is the Pope is something very important. Keep in mind that the doctrine of the Catholic Church is there is always a Pope. Always, always, always. Even during the interregnum, when there is no elected Pope, let's say sometimes 2 months there is
Yes,
no
yes.
Pope. In the eyes of man, there is no Pope, but in the eyes of God, there is a Pope already.
God knows.
Reigning.
No? Yeah.
There is no sede vacante
Yeah,
in the
yes,
Catholic
okay,
Church.
yes.
There is always a Pope, except we do not know who it is.
Yes.
So let us narrow down our discussion, which is being narrowed down also in the discussion now, wherein we're asking the question, who is a true Pope? And we mentioned the fact that everybody now is discussing the invalidity of the election of Pope Francis and the invalidity of the resignation of Pope Benedict. And we mentioned the fact that the reasons they advance and they propose are not the real reasons by which we can judge whether a person is a true Pope or not. They're not. And so we are going to give a clear example. So let's say here is Pope Benedict and Pope Francis. And we're trying to figure out who is a Pope, which everybody's trying to do now. This is a debate that is going on right now. It's between two persons, Pope Benedict and Pope Francis. But the two of them were not involved in the debate. Pope Benedict is not saying anything.
Yes.
He's completely silent. While Pope Francis is doing things to encourage people to accept him as the valid Pope. So we mentioned the fact that only a mature act of faith can solve this problem. And it is a personal problem.
It's sure.
It cannot be solved by the church as an institution or by an order as a order or
Or a community.
not by group. No, yeah. It has to be personal.
An individual decision.
Individual, because this is a test.
Yes.
It's an individual test given to us by God to see on what side we belong to. It's a personal test by God.
Yes.
So we mentioned the fact that if the two of them have faith, and we're talking about mature faith, because we said that this confusion cannot be solved except by a mature act of faith. If both of them have mature faith, both of them would know who is the true Pope
Yes.
and who is not. And the one who is not will try to get away from the papacy and let the real Pope occupy the papacy. As what happened with Hippolytus and Pontian. If both of them have no faith, they will be quarreling until they kill each other.
Oh my God.
And that has happened in the Catholic Church, where an elected Pope tried to kill a retired Pope.
Yeah, it even has happened. Okay.
Except he wasn't able to kill the retired Pope because he died of old age, of sickness.
Who died of old age?
The retired Pope,
okay.
Pope
Was that-
Celestine.
Okay.
Yeah. And that was during the time of Pope Boniface VIII. No? So if both of them has no faith, then they can quarrel up to the end of the world. But if one of them has faith, he would know whether he's the Pope or he's not. He would know whether he's the Pope or he's not. If the other has no faith, he wouldn't know
Yes.
whether he's Pope. He would know nothing, absolutely nothing. He would not even know whether he's a Christian or not. No. Now, Since this cannot be solved because there is a lack of faith these days, we are left with one last resolve, one solution, and that is the four visible marks of a true Catholic as enumerated in the Nicene Creed, in the Apostles' Creed. I believe in one holy, Catholic, and Apostolic Church. Those are visible signs, so you can use it. Unlike faith, it's not visible.
Yes.
It is spiritual, it's theological virtue. Spiritual virtue cannot be detected. But the four signs of the Catholic Church is visible.
That could be the basis.
That could be the basis. So you have to find out who has the four signs. For all you know, both of them doesn't have it. And therefore, we have to look for the person who has it, and that would be the Pope.
Yes, Father.
So the true Pope should have those four signs. Four visible signs of the Catholic Church, which none has presented as an argument that is going on right now. But that's the only reliable way for everybody, because not everybody has faith. For those who have faith, there is no problem. They can detect who is a true Pope. But for most who do not have faith, they have to use these four visible signs, which the ones involved in the debate right now has not used. I've examined all of their arguments, not one of them used it.
How come, Father? They didn't.
Because these four visible signs are partly spiritual signs. It's not purely human. So it cannot be understood by ordinary man.
You said that there is a hidden meaning to every word in the visible sign.
Not really. You just have to be more spiritual.
To know what
You
it
need
is.
graces like that, yeah. And among the four visible signs, to end our program and try to resolve this confusion, the way to examine it is look for the person who has these four visible signs.
That
One.
would be difficult.
Holy, it's almost impossible. One, holy, Catholic, apostolic. But you can do it. You can do it. It's possible because it's a visible sign. And when you look for those four signs, start always with the last one. One, holy, Catholic, apostolic. Start with apostolic.
Because the apostle was
Successor
the
of the
basis
apostle.
of
Yeah, because
building of the church.
the papacy is supposed to be a successor of the apostle.
Yes.
So his doctrine must be a
Apost-
successor of the apostolic doctrines of the
Yes. That means
apostles.
whatever they said, or whatever they did, and if you
We
go
need to say
against,
that they should practice what the apostle have taught.
Not only
practice,
practice, but preach it.
preach it.
Yeah. And with that sign alone, with that visible sign alone, you can already see who is the true Pope. Very clear. Very, very clear, and very easily you can detect who is the true Pope.
How come they are not doing this, the argument of the four visible signs?
That's the complaint I'm saying, that they have plenty of very nice arguments, but they have never used this one infallible doctrine of the Catholic Church on how to detect a Catholic. We are not detecting a Pope.
yeah,
What we're detecting is
only
a Catholic.
with a Catholic faith.
Because you know very well that the Pope has to be Catholic.
Yes, brother.
yes,
There's a lack of grace, lack of enlightening the mind of these people.
Well, you're right. That grace, the four visible signs can be understood easily by intelligent people.
Human reason.
Yeah, human reason. And the defect today is we have very few intelligent people.
No more Thomas Aquinas and St. Augustine.
No more. People are too sentimental.
yes,
They are
emotional.
not rational. They're too sentimental. Oh, the whole American society culture is sentimental. The Philippines also, we're too sentimental. Look at all our dramas, our movies, all sentimental. When you get sentimental, that means you're not using your brains.
Yes, brother.
And the four visible signs can only be detected by sharp mind, brains.
Yes, it's not.
And we don't have that much people to have that kind of brain.
I think it's a lifestyle,
because
Father.
It's the lifestyle. The way of life is too everything in life is emotional. Feeding the emotion, pleasing the emotions, everything is like that.
So there's no practice for thinking.
No practice.
It's all feeling.
It's all, yeah, that's in a nice song, feeling. I think that should be the theme song of the whole world today.
Yeah, they're all just feeling.
Even with the Catholic Church, the trouble. It's all feeling.
Yes. So that's a sad situation because they will never find out who.
Never. They will never. It's useless to explain who is the true Pope. That's why if there is a true Pope, he will be quiet, completely quiet. Because he knows those who have faith will recognize him,
that he is, yeah.
while those without faith, no argument they present will make them accept the true Pope. They will accept the one they like, the one that satisfies their emotions,
Feeling na naman
their
sila.
feelings.
That's what
Can
it
we
seems.
detect by means of reading what they have written in a book or what they have said?
Who said what?
I mean, yeah, to determine whether he's the real Pope or not.
Oh, it's very easy because let's say Pope Benedict has written so many books.
You can
Yes,
look at
but,
it. Yeah.
And Pope Francis has written very little, but he has spoken so much. And so you can detect whether their teachings is according to the teachings of the apostles.
Yes.
Very easily. Very, very easily.
Yes. The statements are loud and clear.
Yeah, very clear.
So, yeah. So there should be no problem.
No problem
Except that
whatsoever.
I don't feel I like this one.
Exactly.
It's all a matter of
So the choice of a Pope today is not based on theology. It is who I like.
yes, that's what's happening.
I don't understand why people doesn't keep on seeking, searching for the true light, for the true
No
wisdom.
more now.
Well, there are still people who are searching, except that they cannot find it because the ones who are preaching the truth are being suppressed
That's
this day.
Yes, yeah.
A priest who had been talking only of one defect of the church, only one defect, only one, which is one of the shallower defects, not very even serious, but it's what's happening all over the United States right now, and it's happening all over the world. So this priest is talking about it. He was suspended just because he was exposing just one defect of the Catholic Church. And yet, when you want to find out who is the Pope and who is not the Pope, you have to see that he is going against all the teaching of the Catholic Church. If he's going against all, then you can be sure he's not a Pope at all.
The problem is lay people cannot determine whether the person in authority is telling the right doctrine or the right faith.
Yeah, that's the trouble, that people do not know what's the Catholic faith, so they don't know whether the Pope is saying the right thing or the wrong thing. When the Pope says something that is right and good, but if it is something disagreeable, they don't like it.
Then what should lay people do, like me? What should I do?
Well, like what you have mentioned, Brother Lodi, you have to be a sincere seeker of the truth.
Yeah.
Because if you're truly seeking the truth, you will find.
Yeah.
But if
Ask
you're
and
not,
it will be given to you.
if you're not, then you'll never find.
Yeah, they will never find.
So,
It's a sad situation, but this is what you're saying, Father. This is the time. It's a sign of the times that now there's this what you call polarization. In other words, people. I think most people have chosen, if not all.
Well,
What do you
yeah,
think? Parang it looks like.
that's true. That's the reason why we try to disentangle this confusion. And we said that if you want to disentangle this confusion, either have faith, and that will disentangle everything,
Yes.
or master the four visible signs of the Catholic Church. And if you know that, you will disentangle this entire confusion.
Yes, this
For the sake of us lay people, can you explain in a simple explanation the faith and this four visible sign before we end this program, Father?
Yeah, these four visible signs can only be understood by people who are truly seeking. If you are truly seeking, you will notice these four visible signs. And the moment you see these visible signs, these four visible signs, all you have to do is put it into practice. Starting with the fourth, follow the teaching of the apostles, so you will become Catholic, you will become holy, and you become one. And the moment you have put into practice those four, then you are a saint. And if you die, you go straight to heaven.
To understand this apostle, you must read the New Testament, because the New Testament was written by the apostles.
Yeah, just to know what are the commandments, you can do that by studying these scriptures. But to understand them, you have to be a true seeker.
Okay. We have only 30 seconds, Father.
So the very good example, for instance, are our Protestant brothers have memorized scriptures
Yes.
much better than the Catholics.
Yes, I noticed that, Father.
Not only that, but it's really true.
Yeah.
they know scriptures more, but they only know it in its wordings, but not its meaning and not its correct interpretation.
And only the fathers of the church and the doctor of the church can give real interpretation of the
Except that the Catholics do not know scriptures and they do not know the interpretation.
either.
That's the trouble.
Yes, Father.
Well, Father, thank you very much for explaining these things to us. And please continue watching Dialogues with Father Don De Castro, so that we will be enlightened. We will understand that the kind of faith that we must have to understand the four visible signs. And thank you very much.
Hosanna, Hosanna, in excelsis, Hosanna.